If he's truly missing you, he's unlikely to say it outright. Let me give you some insight. A lot of relationship advice gets this completely wrong. A man who genuinely misses you won't text long messages about his feelings or confess how often you're on his mind. That's not how male psychology expresses longing or desire. Instead, his mind works on a totally different wavelength, one that communicates through actions, not words. And if you don't understand how to read these cues, you'll miss the moments when you hold the most influence over his emotions. Here's the honest truth most people won't admit. Many women waste countless hours analyzing texts, waiting for declarations, or hunting for obvious signs of affection, all while missing the 3 behavioral patterns that always, without fail, show the truth. When a man is secretly preoccupied with thoughts of you, these aren't tiny hints. They're predictable neurological responses caused by genuine emotional investment. Once you grasp these patterns, you'll never again wonder whether he's thinking of you or letting go. The issue isn't that men are inherently mysterious or emotionally unavailable. The problem is that we've been trained to look for the wrong signs. We expect romantic declarations when true masculine longing appears as actions, as behavioral changes, as automatic responses he can't control, even if he wanted to. This video is going to uncover those behaviors completely. When you recognize these 3 patterns, you move from uncertainty and anxiety to clarity and confidence. You'll know exactly where you stand without having to ask a single question. So, don't skip this. Don't scroll past, because what you're about to learn can completely change how you read male behavior. Let's get into it. Before diving into the 3 behaviors, you need to understand a fundamental difference in how men and women process missing someone. This isn't about stereotypes, it's about brain chemistry, evolutionary psychology, and consistent behavioral patterns across cultures and contexts. When a woman misses someone, she often wants to talk about it, process her feelings, and seek closeness through conversation. Her mind craves verbal connection and emotional expression to manage the longing. But men's psychology works differently. When a man misses you, his mind doesn't immediately reach for words or emotional disclosure. Instead, it activates a different system. His prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning and decision-making, starts working. He begins to strategize around your absence. How can he see you? What's a valid reason to reach out? What can he do to justify contact? This isn't emotional avoidance or weakness. It's how masculine energy naturally reacts to desire paired with uncertainty. The neurochemistry behind it is fascinating. When a man experiences real longing, his dopamine system activates. Dopamine isn't only about pleasure, it's about motivation and reward-seeking behavior. His brain begins figuring out how to close the gap between where he is and where you are. These are visible behavioral patterns that are impossible to fake. You can't manufacture them through manipulation or games because they come from authentic emotional investment. Testosterone also plays a big role in how men process emotion. Men with higher testosterone levels often express feelings through action rather than words. Missing you doesn't make him want to write a poem. It makes him want to act, create an opportunity, make a move, solve the problem of your absence. When you understand this, the 3 behaviors we're about to discuss make perfect sense. They're not random, they're predictable outputs of a male brain genuinely affected by your absence. There's also ego protection involved. Men are taught to fear rejection and vulnerability in romantic matters. Even when he thinks about you constantly, saying it outright feels risky. What if you don't feel the same? What if you've moved on? What if he appears desperate? These fears create a gap between what he feels and what he's willing to express verbally. That's why behavior becomes the main channel of communication. It's safer, less vulnerable, and ironically, far more honest than words. The brain's attachment system also influences how missing someone shows in behavior. When emotional bonds form, the brain creates what scientists call object permanence for that person. Even when you're not present, your mental image stays active in his mind. This triggers spontaneous thoughts throughout his day. He might be in a meeting and suddenly remember something you said. He might hear a song and instantly think of you. These involuntary thoughts show that you occupy significant neurological space in his mind. Missing someone also creates a psychological tension. The brain dislikes unresolved emotions. When a man misses you, his unconscious mind works to resolve that tension through action. This shows up as patterns you can notice, measure, and interpret with accuracy. Once you know what to look for, his behavior directly reflects his internal feelings. No guessing, no confusion, just clear signals about what's going on in his heart and mind. The first thing that always happens when a man secretly misses you is that he finds ways to orbit your life without directly contacting you. This is one of the most reliable and revealing patterns of male behavior. Most women misread it completely. They see it as disinterest or mixed signals when it's the exact opposite. It's his way of staying connected while protecting his vulnerability and maintaining some control. What does orbiting look like? It shows in various ways depending on his personality and your connection. He might consistently view your social media stories even if he doesn't always like or comment on your posts. He might interact more with mutual friends, asking casual questions to gather information about your life. He may appear in places he knows you'll be, creating what seem like accidental encounters that are actually carefully thought out. This orbiting behavior is driven by a psychological phenomenon called proximity seeking. When someone occupies significant mental space, the brain creates a drive to reduce physical or social distance. For men, this often shows up as indirect connection rather than direct approach. Why? Because indirect contact feels safer. He can experience the emotional reward of being near your world without exposing himself to the risk of rejection. It's a way of staying relevant in your life while testing the waters. Another part of orbiting is information gathering. When a man misses you, he becomes genuinely interested in your current state. Is he happy? Are you seeing anyone? Are things going well? Or are you struggling? His mind craves information to guide his next steps. This curiosity leads him to notice small details about your life that he wouldn't pay attention to if you weren't on his mind. He remembers things you said weeks ago. He observes changes in your routines or appearance. This heightened attention is a direct result of emotional investment. The digital age has expanded orbiting behavior even further. He may engage with the content you share in ways that seem random, but actually follow patterns. Liking an older photo suggests he deliberately scrolled through your profile. Watching your stories quickly after posting shows he's checking consistently, perhaps even has notifications turned on. These small digital signals create a trail that directly reflects how much space you occupy in his thoughts. There's also a territorial element to orbiting rooted in evolutionary psychology. By staying present in your awareness, he's subtly signaling to potential competitors that he's still in the picture. This isn't possessiveness in a toxic sense. It's his brain protecting a connection it values. The key to noticing this is consistency. Random or occasional attention doesn't indicate much, but when he regularly appears in your digital or physical life, when his presence becomes predictable, that's a sign missing you is more than a passing thought. It's constant. His brain has created a habit loop around staying connected to you, and habits form when something truly matters. It's crucial to understand that orbiting isn't manipulation or playing games. Often it happens unconsciously. His rational mind might tell him to move on or give you space, but his emotional brain pulls him back into your orbit. He can't help it. The longing overrides logic. When you notice this pattern, you're witnessing genuine emotional conflict. Part of him wants to protect himself from vulnerability, while another part keeps pulling him toward you. Orbiting is also a way to keep a door open. Even if the timing isn't perfect, he doesn't want you to forget him or move on completely. By staying in your awareness, he keeps himself as an option. This isn't about backup plans or disrespect. It's about hope. When a man hopes for a future with you, he instinctively works to keep that possibility alive through subtle, steady presence. What makes orbiting particularly revealing is that it requires effort. Viewing stories, showing up in places, maintaining connections with mutual friends, all of this takes time and energy. Men rarely invest this effort in people who don't matter to them. If he's consistently present, it's because he values you enough to make the investment. The emotional reward he gains from staying connected outweighs the energy it requires. The necessity of orbiting usually correlates with the depth of his feelings. Casual interest produces sporadic attention. Deep emotional investment produces consistent, patterned presence. If you track his orbiting over time, you'll notice it either increases, remains steady, or fades. Escalation shows growing feelings and courage. Steady orbiting indicates sustained interest while managing fear or circumstance. Declining presence suggests he may be moving on. Orbiting often comes before direct action. It's reconnaissance before making a move. He's gathering courage, waiting for the right moment, and making sure conditions are favorable before exposing himself to vulnerability. When orbiting intensifies, it's often a sign he's preparing to act. The second behavior is equally telling. His communication patterns change in subtle but revealing ways. This isn't just about how often he messages you. It's about the timing, nature, and content of his communication. Most women focus on frequency, missing the real signs hidden in how and when he reaches out. When a man misses you, his messages often arrive during emotional windows, late at night or early morning, times when defenses are lower and his rational mind takes a break. In these moments, his emotional brain dominates, and reaching out feels necessary rather than optional. If his texts consistently come during these vulnerable times, it's a strong indicator that his longing peaks when he's alone with his thoughts. Another revealing pattern is message content that references shared memories, inside jokes, or past experiences. When someone misses you, their brain automatically retrieves memories associated with you, a process called memory reconsolidation. These messages aren't random, they're the brain's way of keeping the connection alive while expressing subtle longing. Experiences, he's unconsciously trying to recreate the emotional bond you shared. He wants to remind both you and himself of what made your connection unique. These nostalgic messages act as direct windows into his inner feelings. You'll also notice he asks questions that go beyond ordinary small talk. When a man truly misses you, he becomes genuinely curious about your inner world, not just your activities. He asks about your feelings, your thoughts, and what's been on your mind. This level of curiosity shows real investment. People only make the effort to understand the emotional life of someone who matters to them. Surface-level conversations aren't satisfying when true longing is present. He wants deeper connection, and his questions reflect that need. Another pattern is sharing updates that aren't strictly necessary. He'll tell you about his day, random thoughts, or send things that reminded him of you, articles, songs, memes. Even without practical reason, these actions stem from a desire to maintain connection. His mind wants to keep a link alive because ongoing contact reduces the psychological tension of missing you. Each message becomes a small bridge across the distance between you. Pay attention to how quickly he responds too. When a man is constantly thinking of you, response times can be very fast or intentionally measured. Quick replies happen because he's already mentally engaged with thoughts of you, so responding feels natural. Slower, deliberate replies happen when he's managing vulnerability, crafting answers carefully because your opinion matters. Either pattern shows heightened emotional involvement. Random or inconsistent replies, on the other hand, indicate indifference. The words he uses also reveal a lot. You'll notice more personal pronouns like we and us, even when talking about hypothetical or future events. This shows his mind is processing you as part of his life, not separate from it. When someone's unconscious mind starts blending your narrative with theirs, it's a clear sign of deep psychological integration. Another important clue is vulnerability creep. Over time, if he genuinely misses you, his messages gradually become more personal. He'll open up about struggles, hopes, fears, and uncertainties. This slow revealing happens because missing someone builds emotional pressure and the brain seeks release through connection. When he feels safe sharing with you, it shows your place in his emotional hierarchy is significant. The way he ends conversations is also telling. Someone who wants ongoing connection avoids abrupt endings. Phrases like "talk soon" or "let me know how that goes" or open-ended questions are his way of keeping the dialogue alive. Longing makes final goodbyes feel wrong. The desire for continued contact outweighs social rules about conversation closure. Context matters too. When a man misses you, he pays attention to what's happening in your life and adapts his communication accordingly. If you mention an upcoming event, he'll follow up. If you shared a challenge, he'll check in later. This attentiveness takes mental energy and shows you occupy enough cognitive space that he's motivated to show up for you emotionally. The tone of his messages shifts too. Missing someone often brings more warmth, humor, or vulnerability into communication. You notice a different energy, a deeper presence, an intention in his words. This tonal shift reflects his emotional state seeping into expression, creating a unique feeling in your interactions. The power of analyzing these patterns is that over weeks, you see consistency. One text doesn't mean much, but recurring patterns in timing, content, depth, and tone form a signature of his true feelings. When you spot these markers, you're not guessing. This is objective behavioral data. Finally, recognize these communication changes usually happen unconsciously. He's not carefully planning vulnerable late-night texts. His brain is responding to emotional need. Longing triggers impulses that show up in observable communication. By noticing these signals, you see past his conscious self-presentation into his authentic emotional reality. The third behavior is unmistakable. He makes himself valuable in your life through concrete, action-oriented ways. This is the clearest sign of genuine missing because it requires real effort, not just emotional expression. When a man truly misses you, his masculine energy motivates him to create reasons for you to keep him in your life. He wants to be functionally important, not just emotionally relevant. This can take many forms depending on his abilities, resources, and your needs. He may offer help with problems you've mentioned, fix something for you, provide advice, or connect you with people in his network. He might go out of his way to make life easier or better for you in specific ways. This isn't about grand gestures or buying affection. It's about his brain's drive to be useful and relevant to you. Men are wired to provide and solve problems. When someone matters deeply, that instinct strengthens. The psychology behind this is rooted in evolution. Masculine identity has traditionally been linked to usefulness and provision. A man feels secure in a relationship when he believes he adds value that's hard to replace. When he misses you, his mind starts ensuring you have reasons to keep him close. By making himself valuable, he's creating psychological insurance against loss. You're less likely to completely disconnect from someone who actively improves your life. Another layer of this is attention to detail. When a man notices what you need, want, or struggle with, it shows you occupy significant mental space in his mind. His brain is processing information about you and searching for ways to apply it through helpful action. This kind of attentiveness doesn't happen casually. It requires genuine care and emotional investment. People who don't truly care rarely track the details of your life, looking for ways to contribute. You'll also notice proactive initiative. He doesn't wait to be asked for help. He spots opportunities and acts on them. This proactivity reflects his internal motivation to stay present and relevant in your life. When someone misses you, waiting feels impossible. Action becomes necessary. By taking initiative, he satisfies his own need to feel connected and useful, while also creating positive experiences that tie you closer to him.